Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden, and this stunning gentleman of wisdom right next to me, this is Tim, and this is The Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. Today, we've got a jam-packed show. It's all about budgets, ATF losing money, the Biden administration pulling a fast one. Then we have a G3. Guys, this is one that you're going to want to see. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And Tim, would you believe we've got a bit of a scenario politically going on right now around the ATF? Missed that while you were in Germany.
I did. Yeah. I know there's been a bit of a fight going on, and I guess today I'm going to learn of the potential outcome of
You are.
that particular battle. So I'm kind of eager to get rolling with the show
You
this
are.
morning.
That's good. That's good. So here, I'm going to give you a high level, then we're going to dive into this, right?
Okay.
So we got some funding issues. People of the Second Legacy are aware of this, and the House basically used the pressure from having to fund the government to cut a few agencies, talking about the ATF, the DOJ, the FBI, the EPA. And just to kind of set this up, this is what Mike Johnson, this is the Speaker of the House, said. Dr. Producer, this is number one. Could you hit it for us?
Also advanced, as you've seen the summary, cuts to some of the agencies that we believe are really overreaching and have been turned in some ways against the American people. We're going to cut 3% from DOJ, 7% from the ATF, 6% from the FBI, and 10% from the EPA. And that's just a start.
And that's just the start.
Well, 10% for the EPA. Can we move that over to the ATF?
Listen, baby steps.
Baby steps. Okay. Okay.
Come on, listen. And I think this is an important thing. You just hit something. I know it's funny, but sometimes we kind of look progress and good things in the face and go, yeah, but what about the rest of it? I'm like, listen, come on, guys. Like, do you know,
put a zero behind that 10. Let's make it 100%. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, let's do it. I'm not happy until it's 100. It's kind of like the constitutional carry bills when it was going through Florida. There was a little bit of hubbub around. It's not a clean one. It doesn't have open carry, but you still had constitutional carry. It was kind of like, guys, can we just take the 90% win for now and come back for the 10% later?
Yeah. We've talked about that quite a bit. But
it's just me.
But I like what he had to say there. These agencies have been turned against the American people. That is 100% true statement. I mean, literally, I make references to the Stasi, which was, the militant police enforcement arm of East Germany during the Cold War. They were notorious for doing horrible things to the citizens. And it just seems to me that many of these agencies, like the DOJ, like the ATF, they have literally been turned against the American people. And now they're prosecuting them for things that are wholly made up in many cases, right? We have people being thrown in prison for years without even formally being charged with something, without a trial. What happened to a speedy trial? I mean, all these crazy things going on. So I have to agree with what he said there. I mean, these agencies literally have been weaponized against the American people for political reasons.
Okay. Oh, I completely agree. You're not going to find disagreement here with that. But what I like about this is something that is kind of poetic justice, but then the Biden administration, they got egg on their face on this one because Chris Murphy and all the Democrats are big mad. And I'm going to show you, Tim. But this is what GOA said. This is number two. I like this, and I want to break down why this is big. Last night, the Senate passed the GOA-backed provisions to defund the ATF by $122 million and stop the VA from unconstitutionally disarming an estimated 20,000 veterans per year. And that was all for financial inabilities, right? Mm-hmm. That was it. President Biden will soon be forced to sign this into law. And that's what I wanted to hit on for a second. Forced to sign it into law. They've got to take an L because they have to fund the government. The Senate passed it. The Senate is controlled by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. Biden's got to sign it because they can't have a government shutdown politically on their record going into an election year. That's like political fodder. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
But to be fair, right, this if and this is a big if, Biden were to say, absolutely not, I'm not defunding the ATF. And of course, going along with this would probably be cuts to other agencies like DOJ and stuff like that he is using against his political opponents. And he doesn't want them defunded. I guess the possibility he could veto this exists, but it seems that perhaps that he's been boxed in because look, it wouldn't be the first time that the government has been shut down. It wouldn't be the first time the government is shut down during an election cycle. It has happened before. And it seems like he could, but it seems like there's a little bit more political chess going on here that probably lends itself to what you were saying. Would I be correct?
Correct. And and you are 100%. He could always veto this. But here's the bad side of that. Beautiful people, the second legacy. If he does it, he now has a bill that was passed in a bipartisan manner from the House and from the Senate, Democrat and Republican controlled, and he's going to veto it and shut down the government. That is a poison recipe for an election. I don't see that happening. But again, you are correct. He does have the ability to veto it, but I'm here for him defunding the ATF, the FBI, the DOJ, and the EPA.
I know, right?
And saying
122
Biden
million.
did it too.
122 million sounds like a big number when their budget is in the at least 2 billion arena. It's just not
Yeah, it's a
enough.
lot.
But I'll take the 122 million.
You know what? Take it where we get it, baby.
That's right.
Hey, listen, we'll take 1.2 this year or 120 this year. We'll take 140 next year. We'll get the reins of power. We'll up those numbers to 240 a year. I've got good potential here, Tim. I'm feeling good about it. But you know who's not feeling good about it?
No, it probably just
Mr. Chris Murphy.
because they just about everybody on the left. But okay, yeah, let's go with Murphy.
Yeah. Yes, but we owe it. We owe it to the people of Second Legacy to really just lay into and show the misery of Chris Murphy, because this guy is the number one villain for gun rights in the Senate, like by far.
Yeah.
And he's big mad. He's got the feels, Tim.
Oh no.
So he's really, really upset. And it's interesting what he's upset about, because he's not upset about the idea that they're defunding the ATF or the FBI or anything or cutting from the budget. Doesn't say a peep about that. He's really only upset about the idea that the VA can't take guns from people because they aren't financially literate. That's his big shtick.
Wow.
Yes, it's very big. He's very angry. You want to just for the people. This is number 4. This is Chris Murphy. This is the beautiful image. This is the I'm mad face. I am so serious. It's common sense, safety, and stuff. Because I just don't like this guy, Tim. I just don't like him.
Maybe we should send him a purple-haired stuffed puppy with a Kong dong to pet. They'll make him feel a little bit better in his little safe space.
Wow, that was a lot. A Kong dong. You know, for those who don't have animals and know what that is, that could have been very quickly misinterpreted. I'm going to have to ask Dr. Producer to throw something in there, because Kong is a well-known like chew toy brand. Oh my God, dude, that could have gone bad fast.
No, it's a dog chew toy.
Yeah,
I didn't go too far.
I saw it. You didn't. You did it right. But listen. He's got quotes, Tim. He's very concerned. Chris is big mad. After all, he's a Democrat, of course, and he's in the Senate. This is number 6. He said that it could be a death sentence for many because thousands of mentally ill people have increased access to guns. He's calling mentally ill people all these veterans who just can't balance their checkbooks.
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about.
That's mentally ill. Well, then I guess we're going to have to get old Double Barrel Joe to give up his double barrel, because I seriously doubt he could balance a checkbook.
No, I don't think so.
Based on recent testimony, he probably doesn't even remember having ever owned a checkbook or who put his checkbook in the garage for him. So
it's true. Oh, the garage next to the Corvette.
Next to the Corvette, and on top
crossing
of the
lines?
classified documents. Yeah.
Are we? Oh, there it was. I left it on top of the classified documents. Nailed it. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I like that. Hey, Tim, are you in the mood, by the way, for some media malfeasance around this?
Oh, absolutely.
Just a little garnish for what we're talking about? Okay,
yes.
All right. Well, this is number 5, Doctor. So remember, this is around people who have no ability or struggle to organize their finances are going to lose their guns. Well, that's what we're talking about. But this is what they said. Washington from the AP. Veterans whom the government declares incapable of managing their own affairs would have easier access to firearms under spending legislation expected to be signed by the president. That's not really what... incapable of managing their own affairs. That kind of implies something a little bit different than balancing a checkbook,
right?
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that talk about playing word games, right? They're not able to take care of their own affairs. Well, what does that mean? They can't wipe their own bottom. They can't balance their checkbook. They have a problem mowing their lawn on a regular interval. I mean, what are their affairs that are so concerning that they can't own a firearm because they don't use scrubbing bubbles in their toilet every 2 weeks? Right. I mean, wow, dude. But
it's so bad.
They've had it out against veterans forever. And this is one thing that
absolutely.
Anybody in the veteran community will know. It's like they love you right up until your discharge. And then the minute you go back into civilian life, now you're a liability to them because they've trained you and they don't want you having weapons because the vast majority, at least in my generation anyway, the vast majority of military people tend to lean on the conservative side of things, right? They're trying to
Yes, they do.
change that. They're definitely working to change that. But
Oh yeah.
they don't want conservatives with military training owning firearms. And so they're going to say, well, if you can't balance your checkbook, I'm sorry, dude. Thanks for all the time you spent overseas fighting for
No
liberty.
guns
But
for
we're going
you.
to go ahead and have to take that gun away now because you misplaced a decimal point. It's just
Right.
unbelievable.
Insulting, rude. There's lots of words. I wanted to say something about Florida Representative Maxwell Frost, the new up and coming gun control protege, but I don't want to. He annoys me. So let me show you the last thing that Senator Murphy said. I actually find solace in this, and then we're going to show you how the empire is striking back, because this is a political game, guys. This is the chessboard you are seeing. This is number 8. This is up from Murphy. The gun safety movement wins more than it loses now. We're going to go back to that one. And then, quote, but this setback is evidence that we must stay vigilant, Murphy said. Maybe we let our guard down here. Okay, what do you want to hit first in that, Tim?
The gun safety movement wins more than it loses? Really?
Yeah.
Chrissy, that's what you're going to go with here. You have lost every single major court decision since Biden took office, and even before then. I mean, we're going all the way back to Heller, okay? You are not winning anything except migraines and sleepless nights because you keep getting losses. Now, yes, he's probably talking about these bills that they've successfully passed through various state legislatures, but the proverbial fat lady hasn't sung yet, folks, because it's still going to the Supreme Court, and we kind of know where the Supreme Court stands on many of these issues. So,
and in fact, fun little point of breaking news today. We haven't even gotten a chance to cover it yet. GOA just applied for a writ of certiorari in assault weapons ban in Illinois to the SCOTUS. That happened today, like about an hour ago as of filming. So I mean, like,
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and put that
dance, baby.
We're just gonna go ahead and put that L over in Murphy's column again.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're doing so well. Keep telling yourself that.
So
By
great.
the way, how
So
many
great.
how many constitutional states are we up to now? Didn't one of the Carolinas just come on board?
29.
We're up to 29. That's losing.
That happened.
Yeah, that's losing for the gun side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
'Cause
every
I'm
month
pretty
we had
sure-
another one. Oh, and
Right,
remind me,
I'm pretty
Braden.
sure it was 19 before Biden.
Before Biden. And remind me, Braden, how many states had concealed carry of any type 30 years ago? Oh, a handful.
Oh, almost none.
And how many
almost
today?
none.
That would be all 50.
All of them.
So,
All of
we're losing horribly over here.
Right, but that's the key point. So there's so much to break down in this one little segment, but let me just do the thing that I thought was hilarious about what you picked out first. Tim, we've been doing this show for over a year now, and we've been focusing on this area of politics for about 3 years independently, total and collective, right? But it's been a nonstop diet of the NRA is dead, gun rights are gone, the epidemic is going away, it's common sense gun reform, we're finally getting a leg up, we're going to beat the gun lobby. A common sense diet of that. And now all of a sudden it's, well, we do win more than we lose. I mean, it is like the ultimate, guys, don't be upset.
Yeah, we just kind of let our guard down here this one time, but we'll be back.
We let our guard down. We'll come back. The empire will strike back. And the thing that I love about this is in this article, he tries to convince other people on the same the Senate judiciary when he was trying to kill the bill or get this removed. I just feel like because they said no, they're kind of like, dude, you talk about gun control a lot. Can we talk about something else? Maybe just what do you want for lunch? Magazine bans. Okay.
We haven't had toilet paper in the Senate chamber for like 2 months. Can we talk about that for a minute? Can we just put the gun control thing aside for just a second and get somebody to put some toilet paper in the head because it's getting a little nasty? Yeah.
Exactly. It's just nonstop. It's not. You have to. In my head, I have to think that they just go, guys, dude. We all have our pet projects and we all have our pet funding, and that's where our bills come from. But I mean, come on, ease up a little bit. I mean, like you're kind of overdoing it. I don't know. That's just my thing. Yeah. But I thought it was a great way to wrap that. But are you ready to hear about how the empire is striking back?
Oh boy, let's get into that one.
This one's fun. See, this is the political chessboard that I really genuinely enjoy because they're so transparent, but they act like it's not there. So the first segment that we just did was all about how Biden's going to take an L and the Democrats are big mad that he's going to take an L and defund the ATF, FBI, DOJ, things of that nature. Well, now, wouldn't you know it, a day after all that came out, the Biden White House puts out a press release citing their budget, and it's all about boosting the financials of the FBI, the ATF, and bragging about how much gun control they've done. What are the odds of that, Tim? What do you?
There's no
I
connection
mean,
there. There's no dot to be connected.
no,
Pure
no.
happenstance. 100% coincidence, because we always know there's a lot of
Exactly.
coincidence in politics.
Yes. That's exactly right. Everything just fell together. I mean, it is so fantastically amazing. So I've got a couple things here, and I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm just going to hit on a few of these things. But Tim, a lot of this is going to trigger you, so just start talking when I start triggering you, okay? So we're going to start with number 10. I'm just going to hit a few things. So this first part, this was released last night. It's linked, but they're going down this road of trying to solidify support for their constituents around gun control. Like they haven't talked about it for 3.5 years nonstop, ad nauseum.
Right.
But they spend this entire time talking about the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So here we go. The president took on the gun lobby and signed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act into law, the first significant gun violence legislation in 30 years.
It's done nothing.
Which includes, exactly, even they decried it, which includes enhanced background checks for buyers under 21 who pose a danger to themselves or others. Did that strike anything?
Yeah. So just keep going.
Okay. By the way, it's all 18 to 19 and 20s. It's not just
Right.
the ones that pose a danger.
Yeah.
It's a complete blanket cover, but they can't say that because then they'd be in trouble in the courts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's that one. Then the president also created the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention in American history,
Wow.
overseen by the VP, and has announced nearly 40 executive actions to keep guns out of the dangerous hands.
What are those? I'd like to see that itemized. And the VP.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the one that has accomplished exactly nothing in her entire tenureship as VP. She has done absolutely nothing. Matter of fact, people that love the Democrats are trying to get Joe Biden reelected. They keep looking at Kamala Harris. I mean, Joe Biden is like at 30%. She's like in the 19%. She is so hated so universally because she does absolutely nothing. But boy, she's crushing it with the whatever.
Oh, crushing it.
Yeah, with this thing to prevent gun violence stuff. 40 executive actions. Let's see what that is. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well. So no, I think you picked on something important. We're going to come back to the executive actions. The administration also secured the greatest increase in funding for the physical security of nonprofits and a lot of other places. And the administration also delivered the most funding for the Violence Against Women Act. All right. The thing about this was a big hit list of, look at our greatest hits. You want more of this good stuff? You make sure you vote for us. We've got Kamala. We've got Office of Gun Violence Prevention. We have ATF. We have Bipartisan Safer Community Act. We have so much great stuff. And we have 40 executive actions.
I have to press the pause button
really?
Here because I find this particularly interesting.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it says that they're working with Congress. The administration secured the greatest increase in funding for the nation in the nation's history for physical security of nonprofits, including churches. Mm-hmm. Wasn't there legislation proposed or being discussed about disarming churches,
banning that,
and getting, because I happen to be on my church security team, and we had this discussion last Sunday. They're literally trying to take guns away from the security teams that protect the churches. Yet here they're saying they're funding it. Somebody's lying.
Somebody lying, and it's probably not the people in church. No, you're correct. You're correct. There is a bill that is currently submitted and is active around disarming church security teams. Yep, 100%. And yet here they go, oh my goodness.
We're funding it.
We are so much money.
Look
so
over
much
here.
money for it.
Put them in jail. Look over here, folks. We're doing great things. Put that one in jail too.
It's like so great. They're so great.
Yeah.
They're so great. And Tim, that was just the entree.
No,
that was just the beginning. Oh yeah, here comes the soup du jour. I've got two of these you're gonna freaking love. So this is number 11. So you wouldn't believe, Tim, that they would be throwing in billions and billions and billions of dollars for police, would you?
Oh yeah. So they're all about funding the police now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah. Oh, we're about to get that. Yeah, because apparently there's it's a $1.2 billion over 5 years to launch new violent crime reduction and prevention fund to give federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement the dedicated, seasoned support that they need to focus on violent crime. Right. Now they need to focus on violent crime. They need all that money. They need the people, and they're hiring new feds, agents, prosecutors.
Uh-huh.
Whoa,
Just all this money
so
going
good.
to hire all these new people just so that they can make an arrest and take that person to jail to have them released on their own recognizance after they just murdered somebody
Exactly.
30 minutes later.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But they did
and
it,
they're
Tim.
going to increase enforcement of what? Not arresting people if they steal something less than
Exactly.
$1,000 from their
So
CVS
good.
store. I mean, this is a
Yeah,
complete
so good.
joke.
Oh, 100%. And we haven't even gotten to the part where they put money in for ATF and FBI again. So they've got $1.9 billion for U.S. Marshals to go get the fugitives that they let out again. So that's cute. Then we have, let's see. Oh, here we go. Don't tell the left, Tim. Don't tell them. They don't want to know it. It also includes $1.5 billion in mandatory funding to support community violence intervention programs at the DOJ, and over the next 10 years and $10 billion to support the goal of the president to recruit, train, support, and hire 100,000 additional police officers.
Interesting. I wonder if that's going to help
I
out
seem
the.
to remember reimagining policing. I seem to remember that phrase.
And I remember testimony being given by the head of the air marshals that provide security on commercial flights in the United States. And I believe they testified that they literally have nobody allocated to actual security right now on the airplanes. Every single agent in the air right now has been tasked with following people they think may have been at the January 6th protests.
Right.
They're not even doing safety, security type work anymore. Their agents, 100% of them, are just following around people that may have been in DC around that time. So
but Tim,
let's just give them some more money, though.
Yep. Let's give them some billions. We'll hire 100,000 more people. It'll be great for the GDP. It'll be incredible. Oh, and also, this is really important too. When I'm hiring 100,000 police officers, the number one thing in my mind, Tim, is making sure that they're hired for effective and accountable community policing.
Yes.
Consistent with the standards
and complete,
of the president's orders.
Yeah, with 3 months of sensitivity training and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very important.
It's huge. It's huge because the first thing that I want to hear when I've got a crime problem and you're going to hire more police to solve the crime problem is making sure that they're held accountable. Maybe the criminals be held accountable. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, But now, the ultimate stick in the eye to those pesky Republicans who basically defunded all their favorite little toys. For 2025, the president promises to do the following, Tim. This is number 13. The budget makes significant investments to bolster federal law enforcement capacity to strengthen public safety. The budget includes $17.7 billion for DOJ law enforcement, including $2 billion, an increase of over 30% since 2021 for the ATF to implement the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. You tell me that's coincidental. The day after they get smoked on the ATF getting defunded, they put in $2 billion when they lost $122 million.
Yeah.
It's just coincidental. It's coincidence.
So they can go around and knock on doors and collect people's oil filters they purchased off Amazon because they're doing a diesel truck build. I don't know if you saw that video.
Can't do it.
But
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, there's a guy that does YouTube videos about modifying, turbo diesel trucks and performance engines, and he ordered a bunch of oil filters off Amazon, and they were delivered by ATF agents or FBI agents that wanted to know what he was doing with oil filters because they can be used as suppressors. And the guy's like, I literally make YouTube videos about trucks, guys. I mean, so this is where enforcement dollars are going, folks. Got to make sure we know where those oil filters are being shipped to.
Yep. Well, you know what other oil filter uses can be out there? Oil filters.
Yeah, sometimes they're actually used as oil filters. Call me crazy.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, weird.
It's odd.
Next
so
thing
weird.
I've seen people on YouTube put potatoes on the end of their guns. Next thing you know, they're going to be investigating farmers. Like, why do you need 2.2 million potatoes in this truck? Those are suppressors. $200 each.
Those are suppressors. Those are suppressors. We're coming for you, Idaho. We're coming for you. And then in conclusion, Tim, that's right. We have $51 million for the FBI. So all the stuff that the Republicans just kicked their butts on, the Democrats in the White House decided to say, well, yeah, they lost there, but look what we'll promise you in 2025, hoping that we get elected, even though we haven't been. It's just the most insane thing.
If I can make one plea to our audience, please vote in November. Please. Because you have no idea how much is on the line. If the old curmudgeon gets back in office along with the cackle box and they take over the House and the Senate, we will lose everything. And yes, the Supreme Court may come to save our bacon years down the road, but in the meantime, all this money
It'll
they
be a
want to
fight.
spend right now is going to be used in enforcement against you to come to your house to take your property. That's what they need this
And also,
epic amount of money for.
inflation will go through the roof too.
Well, yeah.
Like, other than
Please
that,
vote.
whatever.
Yeah.
Bottom line, let's just get some V's out here. Get the V's. Well, Tim, we've concluded the kicking the balls to the Democrats and Biden, and then his retort. I think it's time for G3 now.
Okay.
I think you get to take the wheel because we got some stuff today.
So yeah, coming back and kind of digging into the tweets and seeing what the goofy gun grabbers are out there saying. We got number 14, Doc, and this is from Giffords, and they have to say that illegal homemade machine guns are fueling gun violence. Glock switches are designed to convert semi-automatic firearms into fully automatic firearms capable of firing 800 rounds or more per minute. And I'd love to get one of those 800 round magazines, but beyond that, look, they're playing to this because it's making the news cycle, because we have good upstanding citizens posting videos all over the place of these Glock switches. And it used to be they were buying them off Amazon, and ATF was getting involved in that. And then 3D printers, they realized, hey, we can 3D print these things. And so
Yep.
what they're saying is that it's fueling gun violence, even though these things are being illegally manufactured and used out there. It is not changing the calculus in terms of gun violence that they want to call gun violence or anything like that. What I personally call gang violence. Matter of fact, most of the times, if they're using one of these things, they can't even shoot a handgun normally. They're just spraying lead in the air, hitting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just them trying to push the narrative of what we just watched, that goofy video of Diddlebum with his whatever ammunition technology lead struggling for 30 minutes to get a Glock apart.
Right.
This is just going along with their narrative that Glocks are bad, because folks, this is a narrative that may seem high level, like, oh, this is about Glock switches. Look a little deeper. This is about handguns and self-loading firearms, and they're trying to make the case that they're easily convertible, therefore they're machine guns by their very nature. That's how they're going to take your AR-15 away, your Glock away, things like this. This is a carefully crafted narrative that they're trying to promote so that they can make the case to take away anything that loads itself.
So what's interesting about that? That's a very true point. 100%. That's the deeper. But I always love to sit on the very top level and go, "Hey guys, you guys know this is against the NFA, right?
Right.
You guys want to throw that out there, or you don't want to say that? Okay, okay.
Right. It's like, but again, they're talking about gun violence. They're talking about illegal, homemade. They're talking about Glock, but suspiciously absent once again are the criminals. They're not saying we need to go after the criminals doing this. We need to go after the inanimate objects.
It's very odd. It's very odd. But I mean, Tim, they can turn these semi-automatics illegally into fully automatic machine guns. So we should probably do, Tim? We should probably do one of two things. We should probably take away all the semi-automatics or take away all the magazines. Make single shots great again. That's what we need to do.
Well, if they're concerned about if they're concerned about the illegality of a machine gun, well, let's just make them legal again, because they were for most of American history. It's only recently that they banned them. So let's just go ahead and make them legal again. Then they don't have anything illegal to worry about.
So weird. And you know what else I also find very odd about this, Tim?
What's that?
I find this so odd that they say things like, surge of illegal homemade guns has helped fuel gun violence in the U.S. Oh, really? Where?
Yeah, give me those numbers.
Please tell me more.
Yeah.
No, because if all of the criminal statistics that you've cited routinely in order to take our gun rights away turn out to actually be gang related and inside street violence, you might kind of be undermining your point like 3 or 4 different ways.
Right.
Let's talk about this more.
Oh my goodness. Well,
just saying.
I know. That's
Thanks,
that's
Giffords.
the gun
Thanks,
grabbers.
Giffords. Love you.
And so finally, we got to throw in a good Davy, because he's just a constant source of stupidity. He made this post. This is K-12 shooting database. This is not Davy Hogg. This is a different Davy, but they're equally stupid on the stupid spectrum. Shirt that glorifies gun culture is a red flag to watch out for at schools. An 18-year-old high school student was arrested wearing his black rifle shirt and had 2 rifles, 209 rounds of ammunition, and a knife in his car. Boy, he's underachiever. I had more than that in my truck at high school when I was a kid. But anyway, but he did they claim anyway, threatened to kill another student following a fight at school. And then they have a picture of this kid holding, or not holding, but wearing a Black Rifle Coffee Company t-shirt. I'm pretty sure Black Rifle sells coffee. They don't manufacture, nor do they sell firearms. So this kid is not wearing a gun shirt, right? This is not a firearm shirt. This is a coffee shirt. And ironically, it has a picture of a K-bar, which is a knife on it, not even a gun. And it goes to something else, I think, that we need to pay attention to. So at some point down the road, I'll be able to talk to the point as to why this particular topic is near and dear to me. I can't right now because of ongoing litigation, shall we say? But anyway, if you take a look at number 16, this kind of goes hand in hand with what the FBI has put out, how to look for violent extremism. So Davey's saying, if you wear a gun shirt to school or something like Black Rifle Coffee Company, you're a potential threat. We're going to profile you. I thought profiling was a bad thing, but we're going to do it anyway. But then if you take a look at what the FBI has done, Braden, FBI's done the same thing, have they not? I
see a little infographic here. It looks. I'm very intimidated.
So here the FBI put this out to other law enforcement agencies. So if you take a look at a few of these things like the Gadsden flag, if you have a Gadsden flag, folks, you're a domestic terrorist. If you have a Revolutionary War imagery like of a Minuteman, if you have a t-shirt or something like that, or even talk about it, you are an extremist and you are a danger to American society and those around you. A Betsy Ross flag. The Betsy Ross flag, folks. Yep. Old Betsy Ross was a radical. She was. She's on the right side of the argument, by the way.
In a good way.
In a good way. We wouldn't be here without her and the people thought like her. But anyway, you know what? Old Betsy, she's a terrorist. The Punisher skull, Spartan things, of course, all terrorism. If you have a flag with a red or blue stripe, you support the fire department, the police department, you're a domestic terrorist. I could go down the list. And they also have the 2A, memes. Like you have a gun in 2A and you say that your Second Amendment rights, what do they say here? A well-regulated militia. If you say things like that, you're an extremist. This kind of feeds into what Davey's doing here, folks. Anybody that has any affiliation with American culture, and that's all this is, American culture, you're an extremist. You put an American flag out on the flagpole every morning, you're an extremist. And that's what they're programming us here with.
Well, no, that's exactly what this is. But the thing that's so irritating about this independent infographic is things like, I'll give him a piece here. Anarcho-capitalism. Okay. Put that out there. That's not a direct relation to American history, and that could be construed as anarchists who want to go get rid of a government because they want anarchy. Okay, I see that. Okay. Let's talk. Fine. Put that on the damn list. But Betsy Ross flags, Minutemen, and the Gadsden flag, the Come and Take It, the Molon Labe, like those are all things. Like Ted Cruz has come and take it on the back of his boots in the Senate.
I know.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
He pulled it on the desk one time. It was really funny. And then warrior culture. Oh, yes,
warrior culture. These are the people that drag us into 20 years of war, send our children off to fight their wars for them, and then they want to condemn us about our warrior culture. It goes back to them hating veterans.
It's so bad, Tim.
But
yeah.
Another thing I just want to quickly throw in, I just threw it in the notes doc. It may not populate yet, but this goes to my response to Davey's post with the kid with the Black Rifle Coffee Company shirt. And in my post, I said, I'm pretty sure that's a coffee shirt, not a gun shirt. Oh, you're scared by a knife? Perhaps you should start a campaign to remove all edged weapons from high school mascots. There are many like these. Clearly, these schools are run by extremists. I post I just did a quick Google search of different high school mascots. And one of them is a soldier type holding a saber above his head. The other one is an armored guy, like a knight with a shield and a sword, like a buccaneer type thing. And so if you've been by any number of high schools out there, you'll see Spartans and all these different things that have an association with either militaristic themes or even outright have edged weapons in their hands, right? But Davey wants to convince you that because this kid has a knife on his shirt, he's a threat. But the mascot of a school may very well have a sword in their hand. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's dancing a line, right? So if you are actively a threat to someone, that is one scenario. If you are literally just wearing a shirt, it's a shirt. It's not like anything that's a coffee shirt. That's not like the shirt says, "I want to do this to XYZ person." It's a shirt.
Yep.
I mean, again, if you wear American flag, you're being offensive. If you wear anything for a sports team that has anything to do with an indigenous personnel on it, you're being offensive. The I don't want. Can I say that? Can I say pussification?
Oh,
Is that
sure. Go
allowed?
ahead. We're talking about cats. They're very docile
Yeah,
creatures.
nailed it. That piece of America right now, they want it neutered. And they want this model of, and I'm saying the proverbial they, the people who would essentially say government is the main centralized force, there should be nothing outside of it. They want this image of a citizen who is this completely docile, neutered, in the system, 9 to 5 work. It's completely antithetical to the American experience. But they want that individualism snuffed out because it's easier to control the masses through things like fear, manipulation, and scary images. And this is an example of that. That's why they can't have knives. You can't have any indigenous offensive personnel. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't. They just kill all expression whatsoever because someone's bubbles might get hurt.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's like, can you guys grow at least something? I don't even care. It can be pear. It can be. It doesn't matter to me.
They're not going to
I'm
grow
open to
anything
it.
except more dumb by the day. All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching The Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.